The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
A closed heart is the worst prison, because you become a prisoner inside yourself. You don't leave, you don't let anyone in, because you close yourself to love.
As children, we all felt like we could do anything. We would jump around, run, dangle upside down from bars, and do things that would drive our parents insane. The fearless nature of children allowed us to explore and do things without thinking of consequences. As a result, we've all fallen, bumped our heads, scraped our knees, or have been hurt in some way. Whilst most children are repeating the same actions 5 minutes later, many others learn from their pain to never do them again. As adults, we are more cautious, and especially when it comes to love, many are so afraid of falling in love again that they give up altogether on the idea of having a loving and fulfilling relationship. They have been so badly hurt in the past that they do not expect to be happy in their love lives ever again. Instead, they close up their hearts and end up living in an emotional prison. Fame, money, beauty, none of these guarantee happiness in our love lives. Drew Barrymore is a recent example of someone who has given up entirely on the idea of getting married. She has been very open about how she will never marry again, though is still open to meeting someone and probably living with them. However, she is not open to committing to them through marriage or kids. Many people are in the same situation, with their ghosts of the past haunting their idea of what marriage should be and dashing every hope of a healthy future with someone they love. Many others fear the likelihood of going through the same problems as their parents or other family members. It is essential to understand that when a heart is closed, love is unable to enter. When a person closes their heart to love or to a new relationship, they can be seen as simply trying to protect themselves from suffering. Consequently, however, they will end up having no relationships at all. They end up locking themselves away in a prison where they will live in loneliness. They stop themselves from having beneficial and positive relationships, which also could potentially alter their perspective. It's like the saying goes, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Many people get rid of what is good and what is bad at the same time. They are unable to detect what went wrong in their previous relationships and end up generalizing that every relationship will have the same disastrous end. Also, let us not forget those who are in a relationship and still keep their hearts closed up. They have closed their hearts to their husband or wife and have grown cold, remaining in the marriage simply because of the kids. Such people are trapped in a loveless relationship and criticize those who allow themselves to love and be loved. These close-hearted ones have been so badly hurt that they think others are deluded for believing in love, something that they believe does not exist. Unfortunately, this mindset is based on the illusion that they are protecting themselves from being hurt. In reality, however, they are keeping their wounds open, which end up getting infected and gangrenous. The reality is that no one is happy in prison. No one is happy without love. No one is happy whilst living in emotional isolation due to past traumas. The key to get out of this prison is to pinpoint what went wrong in past relationships and seek to not make the same mistakes again. Understand that not everyone is the same, but many people can have the same problematic traits that lead to failure. Learning to identify these traits is key, as is identifying your own personality problems and work on resolving them before they cause you to get hurt again. In doing so, you are then able to resolve the painful past issues and forge ahead for the better, opening yourself up to the beautiful and rewarding possibilities of love that lie ahead.
You know, when a person is afraid of dogs, Mila, it's because in the past they have been bitten by a dog.
Yeah, they carry a trauma.
They had a bad experience. Mm-hmm. Tell me if it's not true. But normally, if someone is very scared of dogs, you know, when they see a dog, sometimes it's a little dog.
Yeah.
You could do like this, and the dog would fly away, right? The other side of the room. And they see, they are scared.
Yeah.
They are 100 times bigger than the dog, right?
I've seen adults that are scared of clowns.
Who is scared of clowns?
There are adults that are scared of clowns.
Ah, adults,
And
okay.
I've seen it before. It was a clown and the adult started panicking and crying, get him away from me, because they probably had a trauma. Someone scared them when they were kids.
Yeah.
So,
Something happened, and the person develops this mechanism of defense. They're afraid. You know, what is fear? Fear is a result of deception, disappointment. It's like you were trying to protect yourself.
yeah.
People, they're afraid of water, for example, of pools, or swimming, a body of water. Maybe in the past, they almost drowned, right? Or someone forced them, they threw them in the water forcibly, right?
Even phobias. I've seen people who they can't be in a very closed space because when they were children, someone locked them up in like a cupboard or something. So something
It
happened.
reminds them of that.
Yeah, of that moment.
It
of
triggers
desperation.
those same emotions, right?
Yeah.
It draws them back to that time in the past. And it triggers all these emotions, right? But the person is living in a prison. This is a prison.
Yeah.
And many people, Mila, they're afraid of loving. They're afraid of relationships.
Yeah, when they do that, it's like they're going into a prison cell, an imaginary emotional one,
Yeah.
and they're there. They feel protected. They feel like they are protected, but the only reason why they feel like that is because they're not in a relationship, right? So they feel like, oh, nothing can hurt me now. But at the same time, they're robbing themselves the opportunities of finding someone and being happy.
They're living in a prison. They put their hearts in a prison. They lock down their heart, right? You're not going anywhere. You're not like anywhere. Even their behavior changes.
Yeah.
I've seen, Mila, women, they have been traumatized by men, abused by men. And what does she do? She dresses up like a boy, like a man, because she doesn't want any man looking at her anymore. So she gets rid of all her femininity. She gets rid of that. She wears men's clothes, baggy clothes, right? Doesn't take care of herself. Because you know why? Because she's been through a trauma. And she's afraid that a man will fall in love, will look at her. She doesn't want men looking at her. It is a defensive mechanism. She doesn't understand, but she's locking herself down. I don't want no man looking at me. I don't want no man watching me. And they stay like this.
Yeah.
But the problem is they are in a prison, and in this prison
There's a cellmate.
there was a cellmate. Who is the cellmate of the person?
Loneliness.
Loneliness is the cellmate, is your cellmate. You're going to have to live with that. Of course, nobody's going to hurt me ever again. It may be true, but you're never going to be happy the way you
Yeah.
could. You're not going to be happy either.
Yeah. We've seen this also with people that maybe they didn't go through a deception themselves, but they seen this in their parents at home, the way that the dad treated the mom or vice versa.
Yeah.
And they got traumatized. They said,
Yes.
I'm never going to be with
Maybe it
someone.
never happened to them, but they saw very close an example in their parents, in their own family, in their own house. And they say, I'm never going to go through this.
Yeah, no man is going to tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And they lock themselves in this prison. And how many couples, Mila? These are the singles. We're talking about singles. They say all men are the same, all women are the same. This mentality is a prison. You are a prisoner of this mentality or these emotions. And you need to break free from this. Otherwise, that's what you're going to get. Because a person who is living in a prison, they can't see new possibilities, Mila.
No.
They have no hope. They can't use their faith.
And a prison is not somewhere nice to be. I've never seen someone say, "Oh, you know, it was so amazing to be in prison. We have free food. I didn't have to work." Nobody says that. Prison is a place
No one ever.
that is cold, that is lonely, that is uncomfortable. So you're just hurting yourself while you remain there.
Yeah, and in prison you can't see the light of day. You can't see the beautiful things in life. You only see hatred,
Yeah,
trauma, disbelief, frustration, rage.
all the opposite of love.
Yeah.
When your heart is in a prison, that those are the only things that you can see.
Yeah, life is cold. Life is cold. And a wound, when a wound is covered, Mila, it doesn't heal. You have to expose the wound. You have to let it dry. You have to let it heal, right?
Yeah.
So some people, they are wounded. What do? They cover that. No, you need to let it heal. You need to bring it out, expose, put medicine on it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's never gonna heal. It's never gonna heal. You have to bring it out. And it doesn't matter how many bad relationships you had. You just need one to be happy. You just need one to work. You may have had 100 bad relationships before. But you just need to find the right person, one person, for it to work. The problem is, those who had a past bad relationships, Mila, they don't believe anymore. They go with this baggage. They go with these suspicious eyes, right? And they can't see the good things in the person. They are already suspicious.
Yeah.
They look at the new person. It might be the right person, but they look at the person. He's going to betray me. He's going to cheat on me. He's lying to me just like all the others. And it changes your behavior.
Is a nice person, but the person that's in a prison sabotages their own relationship, right? They don't even allow themselves to try.
Yeah. And couples as well. Couples, who live in a prison. They are set on their ways. I'm not going to change. You met me like this. I'm not going to change. You have to get rid of this mentality. Unforgiveness, pride. How many couples are being destroyed by pride?
Pride is a prison because it separates you from your partner. Maybe you're living in the same house, but your heart is in a prison. You're cold with your partner. You're just with your partner because of the children. There's indifference, there's coldness, there's no love, no affection, nothing.
And this prison doesn't let you see the good things in your partner because you're so set. No, I need to be angry at my partner. I need to be angry. Even when they do something nice, you pretend you didn't see. No, because remember, I'm angry.
Remember what they did 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm always going to remember what you did 5 years ago.
That's a prison. Your heart is in the prison of what happened.
You don't let go. You don't forgive.
Many years ago.
This is a prison. Let's go to the streets. Let's see what people are talking about. All right? We ask a couple of questions. It's very interesting to hear what people out there have to say. We'll be right back.
How is your heart at the moment? Is it open or closed off to a new relationship?
Closed, because I've been happily married for 22 years.
Yeah, pretty open. I've very recently come out of a long-term relationship and I've got to that point where I'm ready to, try and find something new.
I'm in a relationship, so it's closed off.
It's open. I think that it's open to relationship. If I can find some person, I can start relationship, I think that.
Have you ever been so let down in your love life that you closed yourself up to new relationships?
Yes, very much so. After the last breakup, it was hard. It was tough to get to that point where you're ready to open up again.
No, I don't think so. I feel like I've been quite lucky so far, so I've never had to resort to that.
No, I don't think I have, but I can see how it could happen for sure, because I think you can get really wounded and be really scared about trusting anybody in the future, and just that feeling of wounding is just so painful to bear. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that a bad relationship can cause emotional trauma?
Absolutely, absolutely. It can totally cause you to question your own thinking, your own trusting your own feelings. And I think you've got to be able to trust your own feelings in order to be able to connect with someone properly. Absolutely.
Yes, 100%. In kind of ways that you don't, it's day to day, like things that you don't necessarily think about. You'll see something that reminds you of that person, and it can hit you when you're like off guard, kind of, you least expect it.
Absolutely. If people are there's plenty of toxic people out there that it can take a while to get over, and it can affect how you then move on with other people, form your relationships with other people, unhealthy attachments and things like that.
God, yes, but so can a good relationship. Everyone causes emotional trauma. It's just how you deal with it and how you work together and communicate. You communicate with your partner, everything's fine.
And what do you think is needed to keep a person's heart open to new relationship, despite being hurt in the past?
Within one answer, trust. To get into somebody's heart, you've got to understand them. To understand them, you've got to communicate them. To communicate them, you've got to build the trust. If you build the trust, you've got their heart.
It's painful, acknowledge the pain, it will move on and connect again, and trust your instincts. I think if someone's really hurt you badly and you've not been able to trust your instincts, take a step away, but also knowing it can't go on forever. You can't constantly feel pain. If you just say, yes, this is awful, and it will end, maybe go seek therapy or whatever, but actually learn to trust your instincts. I think they're there for you and they're guiding you.
Talking to people, talking to your friends about it, normalising that people go through pain in relationships, toxic behaviour that they have to deal with, because more often than not it's a shared experience and your friends might have experienced it as well. So having someone else that's also gone through the same thing as you, I feel like can help you open up more to love in the future.
Are you living in a prison? Whether an idea, a conception, or a feeling, the past. You don't need to be a hostage, a prisoner of your past, of a deception, disappointment, a betrayal, a bad relationship you had, bad examples you saw in your parents, your pride or unforgiveness. You don't need to be a prisoner. You don't need to be a hostage. You can be free from this. You can break free, but you have to get revolted. You have to break free from this prison. Say, I'm not going to let the past define my future. I don't care how many times I failed. I just need one try that goes well, that works for me to be happy. This is what I'm talking to you. Maybe you failed 100 times. It just takes one right choice for you to be happy.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.